Hello, everybody. It's your friendly digital technology librarian, Christy here. We've reached another Friday, so of course, I have another Film Rec Friday ready for everybody out there. Now, August is Happiness Happens Month, and really, what better way to celebrate than with a recommendation list full of what I hope are movies guaranteed to make you smile. Now, these recommendations are some of my absolute favorite go to happy movies. They're films that I've loved for years. They're movies that my friends and I can quote pretty much from beginning to end. That's a great way to identify if would-be friends will have a similar sense of humor to you. And they're just basically movies that I know I can watch when I'm in need of a good laugh or a pick-me-up. Um, as always, these movies are available to you entirely for free with the use of your Milan-Berlin library card, and they're available on one of our video services. Any of these services are, again, entirely for free. They are CleveNet's Overdrive, Hoopla Digital, and Canopy. So without any further ado, let's get to the Rex. Okay, so jumping right in with a recommendation from Hoopla Digital, and that is 1996's The Birdcage. This movie, guys, I absolutely love this movie. The Birdcage is actually a remake of this much loved French farce called La Cage aux Folles. And in The Birdcage, we have this long-standing, loving gay couple played by Robin Williams and Nathan Lane. They are Armand and Albert, respectively. And Armand and Albert own, run, operate, star in this drag show in Florida. Super popular, beloved characters and everything. And these two have been together for years and years. They've raised a son. Their son is off at college. Things open with the son coming home from college to drop a bombshell on them. Super young, but he's getting married. Okay, so, they decide to roll with that punch, but come to find out their son is actually engaged to a lovely young woman who just happens to be the daughter of an incredibly conservative senator. Um, as you can guess, there are all kinds of bumps along the road to this relationship, and it really is just this amazingly funny, charming, sweet comedy that I think will have you laughing out loud pretty much from beginning to end. Um, my friends and I can quote pretty much the entirety of this movie. Actually, when I was telling some of my coworkers that this was one of my recommendations for this week, um, one of my close friends and on staff started quoting lines from it, and we just went back and forth for a good 15 minutes, and we all recognized the movie. It was great. I mean, it's a really funny film. Um, Robin Williams in this is just like he's amazing. Uh he's playing the less over the top character, because in comedy duos you always have like the ridiculous character and then the more straightforward character. And of all things, Robin Williams plays that more like hardline figure, and it's amazing. He's still giving off this virtuosic comedic performance. There's this chronology of dance that he performs all within like 3 minutes, and even thinking about it like makes me smile. Um, you have incredible performances all the way around. Like I mentioned, Robin Williams, always amazing. Nathan Lane as Albert is hilarious and adorable and really heartfelt. There's so many moments where it's just warm and fuzzy. Dan Futterman plays their son Val. You have Callista Flockhart playing his fiance. Gene Hackman plays the senator. Diane Weiss plays his wife. I mean, the cast is huge. Oh, Hank Azaria. Hank Azaria is Albert and Armand's houseboy slash maid slash housekeeper slash wannabe performer in the show. I mean, he's also an absolute gem in this. I mean, again, so many laugh out loud moments. And, it's one of those films that takes what could be a sensitive topic and makes it really accessible, makes it really light and enjoyable regardless. And it just is one of those movies that will make you smile. So if you're looking for something light and fluffy and absolutely hilarious, this is definitely a movie to check out. Again, performances are just top notch and the writing is excellent. So again, looking for something that will guaranteed make you laugh, check out The Birdcage. It's available on Hoopla. Can't miss. All right, moving right along to our next recommendation. This one is also available on Hoopla, and it is 2004's 13 Going on 30. At this point in time, I would say 13 Going on 30 is one of my most favorite go-to rom-coms. I mean, it's just one of those movies that I can watch over and over again and still find enjoyable. And with rom-coms, I feel like that's sometimes hard to find. So in this particular movie, we are following at the very beginning a 13-year-old Jenna Rink on her birthday. Some tragic things happen. Not really tragic, it's just like 13-year-old angsty things happen. And then she ends up making this wish that she could be 30 and she could just skip all of this awfulness. Through movie magic, suddenly she's 30 years old, except she doesn't remember or know what has gone on for the last decade plus. So she's definitely suddenly this fish out of water. 30-year-old Jenna is this big magazine editor. She's, really super stylish and popular. She's got this incredibly attractive boyfriend, and she just is still the 13-year-old her, and she has no idea what's happening or what's going on. And it's just lots and lots of fun. Like, Jennifer Garner plays Jenna Rink, and there's just something about Garner that is so likable. So even though you have this grown adult acting like a child, it's adorable rather than annoying, because with the wrong actress in that role, it could definitely have gotten irritating very, very quickly. She's just so earnest and so excited about everything, like everything. She's got her own place and all of these things. And it's kind of like you get flashbacks of the moments that you suddenly realized, oh, I am an adult. I have my own place. I have all of these things that I never imagined. And it's really cute and it's really sweet. There are loads of other characters, but of course you have to mention her primary love interest, who is her best friend from when she was a child, Maddie Flamhalf. I never remember the last name of him. I don't, of his character. I don't know why. But Matt Flamhalf is played by Mark Ruffalo, who is also one of those actors who's just always likable on screen. Whether you're talking about like movies like this or you're talking about him playing the Hulk, he's just always enjoyable. And this film is no different. So at some point in that decade plus that we missed, Jenna and Matt have sort of gone their separate ways. They had some kind of fight and falling out, and Jenna has no idea that happened. So she's still functioning like Matt is her best friend. And so she's trying to rebuild that friendship, deal with all of these other both exciting and terrifying things that are happening in her 30-year-old life. And you just kind of get swept up in all of her excitement. And we see that sort of getting caught up in her whirlwind when we see the character of Matt getting pulled back into her orbit. There are some really iconic moments iconic enough for other films to sort of poke fun at them. Like there's this, it's kind of spoiler, but not really. There's this moment where people break into the Thriller dance at a dance club / event, and it's utterly ridiculous. I mean, absolutely ridiculous. This does not happen. Except it also just perfectly works because it's so ludicrous to begin with, like the whole premise. So everything just kind of gels together. Also, watching Mark Ruffalo kind of like shuffle through a pseudo thriller choreography is probably one of the most delightful things you will experience in life. But seriously, I mean, it's just It's like 5 minutes of absolute hilarity. Andy Serkis plays Jenna's boss, and you also get to see Andy Serkis dance around to Thriller, so that's just a bonus on top of the Mark Ruffalo ridiculousness. So yes, if you are looking for something sweet and something absolutely hilarious that works the way you would expect a rom-com to work, but with utterly charming performances and in general just like a really enjoyable storyline, please check out 13 Going on 30. One of my favorite rom-coms. You just have to check it out. Okay, our final recommendation for this week is available on Canopy, and it is 1987's Spaceballs. Now, this movie is one of my favorite films of all time, not just comedies, not just go-to happy movies, but just films in general. I absolutely adore this movie, and I hope that you will check it out. It's actually my pick of the week. So, Spaceballs is essentially Mel Brooks's Star Wars. I mean, that's probably the most concise, accurate way to describe it. Imagine Star Wars, but if Mel Brooks had written it and directed it and also had a role in it. And that's pretty much Spaceballs. So in Spaceballs, we've got a villain named Dark Helmet. Dark Helmet is played by Rick Moranis. He is absolutely glorious in this. He's definitely more of a bumbling figure than, say, his obvious counterpart, Darth Vader. But he's still, like, absolutely wonderful to watch on screen. And he ends up hatching this plan to kidnap this big galaxy princess, Princess Vespa, hold her for ransom, and blah, 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 be evil, take over things. You know the drill. And so, Princess Vespa ends up having to be rescued by the Spaceballs version of Han Solo, Lone Star. In this, Lone Star is played by Bill Pullman, always glorious, whether we're talking about playing a hammy version of Han Solo or President of the United States in Independence Day. Lone Star's sidekick is a dog-type humanoid alien played by John Candy. His name is Barf. Just leave that there. And they have all of these ridiculous escapades in the galaxy. Lone Star is running from his own difficulties with the law and with other sort of loan shark-esque aliens, namely Pizza the Hut. So if you couldn't guess, there are lots of like punny names and situations that if you are a Star Wars fan and you haven't seen this, you will immediately think are hilarious. But if you aren't a Star Wars fan, it still manages to work. So if you've seen other sort of spoofy Mel Brooks movies, they're just funny in general. They're just kind of ludicrous and laugh out loud moments. If you get the references, that's great. If you don't, it's still funny because it's a Mel Brooks movie. But yeah, this is clearly a comedic love letter to Star Wars and Star Wars fans. Joan Rivers is in here as the sort of counterpoint to Star Wars' C-3PO. You've got tons of other characters that draw from each other. You've got Mel Brooks being a Yoda-esque figure, also hilarious. There's just so much in this movie that it's just so clever and so ridiculous. I mean, like it's not like necessarily what I would call highbrow humor in any way, shape, or form, but it's so thoroughly enjoyable, much again like all of Mel Brooks's movies. So if you're looking at something that you will absolutely laugh at, that has adventure and action, because it 100% does, and that's just full of a phenomenal cast. Again, you've got Rick Moranis, you've got Bill Pullman, Daphne Zuniga, Joan Rivers, you've got John Candy. I mean, like, all of these people are just amazing and they have phenomenal chemistry. Like, I don't always think about that when I'm coming at like parody films, like the importance of that, but this totally gels so well. All of the actors just play off of one another in an incredible, incredible way. So again, if you're looking for something funny, like clever, with loads of puns that are guaranteed to make you laugh, check out Spaceballs. Love letter to Star Wars fans, and just great comedy in general. You won't regret it. Okay, so those were my recommendations for this week. I hope one of them will speak to you. If not, please, please, please check out our catalog of streaming films. There are so many movies in there. You're guaranteed to find something you'll love. If you have any recommendations that you'd like to share for your go-to films when you need a laugh, comment with those below. Always looking for recommendations for movies to watch. If you have a recommendation for a theme that you'd like to see me cover soon, comment with that too. Definitely need help there. As always, thank you so, so much for joining me. I absolutely adore making these lists. It gives me a chance to do those deep dives into the catalog and sort of see what we have to offer. And I've found so many gems over the years. You know, these kinds of recommendations are pretty subjective, but I think hearing from you has really helped me to expand some of the things that I've watched, just finding films that I've never even noticed were there, and I've really, really enjoyed them. So, again, thank you for joining me, and hopefully, I will see you next week. Bye bye.